Okay, dear.
So good evening, everyone. I am Tanish Bansal and I am going to present a presentation on food processing industry in India. As we know that this is the need of today, and I am sure that you would all know about food processing, converting raw materials and adding value to it. So, what is the food processing industry? As I said, transformation of raw agricultural products into food products includes dairy, fruit and vegetables, grains, poultry, meat, etc. So, in food processing, value addition to farm products is being done, which reduces wastage and develops employment and rural development. So in coming 3 to 4 slides, we will be discussing about the data about our country, what our country stands in food processing. Indian food processing market is about of $355 billion in 2024, and which is expected to grow about $535 billion by end of financial year.
By almost 50% growth है.
So
30 से देख लो.
there's a lot of potential in this.
और इससे भी कहीं गुना है. मेरा अपना estimate है 5000% we can grow in this. अभी कितना दिख रहा है 50%. फिर भी ठीक है, चलो 50 है, still आगे चलो, शाबाश. Good, very good data.
So, as we talk about long
Very
term,
good.
financial year 35 it's for 1.1 trillion, $1.1 trillion market, and by financial year 47. By financial year 47, we have an agenda of Viksit Bharat, and we have aimed for about $10 trillion market, and it has potential. The food processing market itself has potential of $2.15 trillion market. So that has been presented. That data has been presented in some of our chart. Now, this food processing sector contributes about 8.8% of manufacturing GDP and 8.39% of agricultural GDP, and it contributes about 32% of the overall Indian food market. It contributes 13% to the India's total exports, and those reached $49.4 billion in 24-25. Now, these data can be represented in interviews and group discussions as agriculture is the most prominent sector in our country. As such, 50% of the population is dependent on agriculture, that's directly or indirectly. Employment, as we have seen, that 1.93 million workers, but unregistered are about 5+ million. We can say that about 43 or 50% of Indian population is being employed in agriculture. Now, in food processing, there is an organized sector and unorganized sector. However, 60 to 65% of total production is comes under organized sector. This constitutes like companies like ITC, Nestle, which add value to the agricultural products, but they are being registered and they are of about 60 to 65%. Unorganized sector constitutes about 40% of the total food processing units. These are the small units, and these also contribute a major chunk to food processing industry. Now, these are the major schemes which could be used, which have been developed by our Prime Minister to develop this sector, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana, which aims to create modern processing and supply infrastructure, PM formalization of micro food processing enterprises. So this is mainly for unorganized micro units. We have also seen that 10,000 crores has been allotted to MSMEs in this project. So this also constitutes a major part of that. Production linked incentive scheme for food processing. Agri-food innovation and export development initiative, which helps for startups and export business. Now, before sharing this case study, I want to talk about Punjab food processing.
एक मिनट में लगा देता हूँ.
Thank you, sir. If we talk about Punjab, there is a great potential for food processing industry in Punjab. If we talk about districts of Fazilka and Abohar, there is a high production of kinnu, which can support fruit juice, pulp, and jam processing industries. Also, there is a potato belt, including districts of Jalandhar and Kapurthala, which can support French fries, potato chips, and etc. processing industries. While cotton belt including the districts of Malwa belt, can integrate textile and spinning units, which would help the state to retain more value within it. So this same thing was adopted in Gujarat, where Gujarat converted the surplus tomatoes into puree paste and have their exports. So why did it happen? How did they made it possible? The Gujarat Agro Industries Corporation provides 35% credit linked capital subsidy up to 3 crore for FPOs or groups, enabling FPOs to set up tomato processing units, including puree manufacturing. Now this same comes in Punjab. There are about 600 FPOs, that is farmer producer organization. These are the groups of farmers only which come together and which directly link with exporters and manufacturers. So there is a very important need to strengthen the FPOs of Punjab so that they could, and there's a role of government also to provide subsidies to farmers of Punjab so that they could set up processing industries in Punjab to make out raw material to value-added products. Now, this also helps to reduction in post-harvest losses, establishment of processing units in districts like Ahmedabad, Surat, Anand, Kheda, etc. help FPO absorb market gluts, convert raw produce into puree, and reduce distress, selling, and wastage. Now, what are the challenges in food processing industry? First of all, infrastructure gaps. There is insufficient processing facilities and cold chain causing post-harvest losses. Also, there is no network change, as sir have also told about cold storages. There is no mention of these cold storages and food processing industries in this year budget. So there is a major gap in this. Fragmented, unorganized market. We have seen that 40% of the market is unorganized. So that lacks scale and brand presence. Market linkage weaknesses, inefficient supply chains and marketing networks. There has also been a need for developing the road transportation networks. Quality and standards, meeting global quality standards remains a concern for exports. Now we have a great opportunity as we have signed a deal with European Union. So I think that food processing industries has a great potential. We can export a lot, but for that we have to meet quality standards, and the government has to support the small farmers so that they could develop their own factories or processing units. So as we have told, rising consumption, consumption in India projected to reach 1.2 trillion by financial year 26. That's a huge market. Export expansion, target diversified markets beyond the US, EU into the Middle East and Asia. So this was prepared before that the EU deal. So I think that today European Union export to European Union had a great potential for Indian market. Innovation and startups, tech and product innovation is growing fast, and rural job creation. So yes, there's a great need to increase the income of our farmers. This has been projected as about 50% of the population depends on agriculture, as I said, directly or indirectly. But unfortunately, around 68% of the farmers are small and marginal. So there's a great need to increase their incomes, and this food processing industry would play a major role to do that. I think we have discussed all the points. Thank you.
Okay, good, very good. Next किसका है presentation? ये तो आ जाओ बेटा. Thank you, sir.